Oh.
Welcome, we're live, and I hope you caught that.
Yeah, God.
Welcome, we're live, and I hope you
Ugh.
caught that.
Yeah,
Welcome
Now
back.
everyone
It
will think
has
that I'm
been a
abusive. Thank you,
moment.
Joe.
Uh, yeah. We're glazing over that. Um, it
there
has
be
been
goblins
a
on this ship.
moment. Yeah, clearly. It's been a moment since we've recorded a and streamed, so my players are the worst right now. But I will. Don't worry, it will only get worse from here.
You love us.
Mm.
um, but before
We're a special
anything,
kind of crazy. You love it.
uh, any plugs, promotions, anything that you would wish to do, please do so.
Hello, my name is Slay. Pronounce they them. You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Sons of Warban. I have something that's possibly in the works in in like a month or two, but I'm not entirely sure of the timeline yet. So I will keep y'all updated.
Well, considering that nobody is jumping in. Hello, it's me, Little Legend. I bet you missed not hear me the last time. I think I was late. I believe I was late. Anyway, it's me, and I'm here to promote my art Tumblr. Please visit me. I want more people to see the weird stuff I do. So it's Little Legend dash Arts. I'm like currently trying to draw a little bit every day, and soon I'm going to be posting everything that I've got so far. So I hope you're excited for that. Smooches!
Very excited. And citations. I'm Silver Sugar, aka Risa. You can find me most corners of the internet as Silver Sugar or X Silver Sugar. The X is silent. Currently, I am running a Pokemon Nuzlocke over on my Twitch and YouTube channels. If you guys are interested, it's super fun. I also have some adoptables that I'm slowly posting over onto my coffee. But if you want to join my Discord, you can also get them early there because I post them first. But yeah, that's all for me.
Yeah, and you should jump over and watch the Nuzlocke because I'm going to curse Silver with ever so slightly of something. The luck has been less cursed than the previous one.
Oh no! Spoilers. I've already had losses. I don't need any more. Thank you. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, but your Paldeo one had some pretty tragic events. Um, but anyways, and then of course, I do have a couple announcements of my own. One, we are so close to finishing our Pokemon Dawn Bright Arc 1 podcast stuff, and then we'll start doing a little bit more heavy into the editing and then episode release schedules. Hopefully, if all goes well, um, sometime in the summer, I would hope so. I don't have an exact date because people have lives outside of this, and we record when we can. Um, but in addition to that, we will, after this season wraps up, we'll go behind the scenes a little bit. We will do some work for our Lower Decks 2 shot, which will probably come out during the interim between our next project, which is going to be Star Trek Fringe, which is either going to show up sometime this year in the winter or next year, like during January or February. It kind of just depends on where I'm at and where everyone else is at in terms of everything. Um, Additionally, if you are interested, I do have another community game that I am opening up for on a bi-weekly schedule on Sundays. Takes place in our same Daggerheart world. We're just using D&D this time because it's easier for my brain. A little measure for that is it is very RP focused. Theater of the mind, combats likely won't happen unless it has any narrative like importance or significance then or down the road, and I will always try and keep that particular game's gaming time about under the 2 hours and 20-minute mark, just because I know people don't always have time for that. Finally, I am working on something else too that will kind of got to do a little bit of hunting and seeing if I can get people to respond to messages, because some people are the worst when it comes to getting their responses. But hopefully, I'll have another thing to announce next week, I hope, or the week after that. But we will be right back as we jump in to tonight's episode. So enjoy this little bit because of this intro, because you're only going to see it a couple more times.
So excited for Fringe.
Welcome back. During the last session, a lot of inner turmoil was happening aboard the Hypatia, particularly for Jaloran, and arguably more for Leora.
What? No, Leora's fine.
That is actually where we pick up, as you can see from the bridge, Leora, the sort of ring of fire that you were creating on the surface. And there is even with the bridge damaged as it is, there is a long hanging silence. Any officers or crewmen that are aboard the bridge or manned the torpedo arsenal from the armory, this is going to hang with them for a long time. Whether or not you made sure to, dot I's and cross T's to make sure any sort of repercussion falls back onto you. In the bureaucratic sense, it will, but in terms of the emotional, that's going to weigh on them for probably the rest of their lives.
Where are we on repairs?
The lieutenant kind of flinches ever so slightly. We won't be able to make any further repairs until the Intrepid gets here.
All right. Casualty reports. How many more have we lost since last one?
Thankfully, it doesn't seem like there's been any more casualties. It's been relatively the hard part is over when it comes to that, at least.
Okay, that's good. All right, we're gonna stay at station keeping. Keep us out of the range of any more missiles that try to fire at us. I don't think they're going to, but you never know. And then once we do that, I want everyone to, since we're not going to be able to do any more repairs, I want everyone to get some rest for a little bit. Minimal crew necessary. Make sure everyone is getting some sleep or getting some food or at least some water, and just make sure we're all somewhat rested for when the Intrepid gets here so that we can get repairs done as quick as possible. I look to the lieutenant. I say, coordinate with the rest of the crew and get all that stuff scheduled and sorted, if you will, please. I'll stay on the bridge and keep an eye out on things right now.
Yes, sir. Doesn't
And
add anything to that. He'll just kind of turn heel.
Yeah.
and leave.
I mean, I'm basically giving him an excuse to leave the bridge because I know he's really upset with me right now. Like everyone's upset with me, but him in particular is upset with me. So yeah, I'm just yeah.
There is
Leora.
Yeah, continue.
Sorry, Leora is just like staring at what the carnage that they just unleashed on this planet, and it's weird because Leora has lived like through the symbiont, but has lived several hundred years, and they have never had to make a decision like this. So, for the first time in a long time, Leora doesn't have any sort of older experience to fall back on. So they're just sort of sitting in it, and they're kind of detached, and in their mind are going, and then their mind, it's kind of weird, but in their mind they're thinking the next host, at least if they have to make a decision, to at least have their experience to fall back on if that ever does happen, or a future host symbiote.
Mm-hmm. A point of note also is, while they can draw on that experience should it ever come up, this is also the next host will be living with this memory, and probably a slight feeling of guilt or apprehension that they probably won't know what to do with initially.
Well, hopefully they'll have a better education on this stuff than I did.
After a little bit, Leora, you do see on the con station there is a blinking light signifying a hail, but it doesn't appear to be from any nearby ship.
I'll just click it, and if we can put it on screen, I'll put it on screen. If I can't,
It's audio
then
only.
yeah, okay, I'll put it on.
There is... It takes a little bit for the translator to read through it, but you eventually do hear a woman's voice. From your determination, probably late 20s, early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But just, hello. If anyone's out there, we could use some help. There's a lot down here. We're not really sure what happened, but there's... Oh gods, there's... You're getting the sense that this is an open, emergency channel for any type of assistance,
Mm-hmm.
and it is coming from planet side.
Yeah. Lior turns off the hail.
Okay.
Um, whew. Let me think for a sec. Because, damn, Joe, you just punched me in the gut here.
You thought I was gonna let you get away without feels? That's hilarious.
No, I didn't think that. I just didn't think your gut punch would be right at solar plexus. I thought you'd aim a little lower. Um, yeah, like realistically, we don't have the staff to help them, even if we could help them. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna jam any signals. Like if they can get someone to help them, then more power to them. I don't think that. Do I know how far that transmission can go?
That transmission is probably limited. It's an impressive distance for their like technological level, but it's not a far range. It's maybe half a light year is the range of it. But that is, I mean, for their technology level, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm not gonna jam the signals, but I'm also not going to. I mean, the thing is, we just don't have the staff. We don't. A lot of our people are dead or wounded, and everyone else we literally need here. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't really transport anyone down. The shells aren't going to help us very much. Transporters aren't great, and it's just not going to work out very well.
Yeah.
We just don't have the staff.
As you kind of ruminate on that, Kavai, you did get a front row seat from your lab station as to what occurred. What are you doing in that?
Yeah. Would I have on my own any sort of like tabs? Like would I have been able to been aware of that communication?
It's open. It like
Oh, so
like
we
if
all heard
like,
that, and we heard Leora.
well,
Click off that
it was
call?
open on the bridge, but if you're listening through chatter, it's an open emergency frequency for them, but it's not like being blocked. Like it's not secure. So
Okay.
you could listen in if you wanted to. So
I would have done that then.
okay.
And the moment Leora clicks off, I'm fucking pissed. Like, it's one thing to take care of our people and defend stuff against, like, issues. It's another thing entirely to ignore someone
Mm-hmm.
asking for aid.
So I'm going to perhaps allow you to cause trouble in a certain way, Kavai. The transporters are not very reliable. A shuttle pod or a shuttlecraft is a lot more reliable. Unfortunately, the Hypatia only has 2.
Yeah, and I don't know how to pilot one of those really. Damn it. Can I fuck with the transporters?
You most certainly can.
I hate this. I think she even says that as she's going toward it. She's like, the fact that this even entered her dumb little noodle brain, is just like, I can't believe I'm doing, like, this makes me want to vomit. But I just
Everyone
sort of,
is
like,
clearly
autopilot my
delighted
way
by the
there.
situation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right. Given the status of the Hypatia,
Mm-hmm.
heavy lockdown protocols are just not going to be a thing because it actually destroys the efficiency right now. So you could easily access. You would just need to realign a few wires and stuff. And yes, I agree, Serenity. But
So cute. We demand pictures at this point.
but the yeah, it's not that hard to do. Is the point I'm making.
Okay.
And there's very little I will say this though, Kavai.
Mhm.
Given the transporter's present situation, you can transport down, but I will have someone else roll something, and it will quite literally be a 50-50 if the transporters are still up or not after you use them, because you could be burning out their energy coils.
Um, I'm hoping to at least leave things in better condition than um I want to take my time with it. It also gives Kavai maybe like um
Moments to maybe reconsider.
yeah, but mostly I just also it's kind of like an interesting thing of this thing she fucking hates and is like so just terrified of every goddamn time. It's her first time like really even interacting with it from like this side of the console too. So it's just kind of like a okay, I know I took like basic stuff, but I kind of ignored that. Let me just flip open manuals here. Maybe
You
maybe
want to
it's not
hear
so bad.
something really funny, Kavai?
Mm.
All these like hacking exercises and stuff that Jaloran had you do is not applicable when it comes to realigning a
Yeah,
transporter console.
no, this makes
However,
total sense.
it is not a hard thing to do because the transporter console does most of the work anyways. So as
Sweet.
long as you're able to just do it, it's kind of fine, and you have the time to do it, so you don't really have to roll.
Okay.
But I will say it'll take you the better part of 20 minutes to do, and in that time you can decide if Kavai maybe reneges on the
I
decision or not.
I don't renege, but I think I will as I'm working on it, just sort of like, oh, I'm just fixing this. That's what I'm here for. I didn't see anybody else doing it. It's just one of the systems we need to get back up. I am going to see if I can make like a private channel to this individual who needed help. At least so I can get like what am like more information on what I could potentially be walking in on.
Okay. Yeah, you could. There's ways to do it. It's very it's like a middle of the road situation for both of you though. It's
Mhm.
very choppy, so I will speak clearly, but understand that you are probably getting, some words are clear and some are very static and chopped out.
Gotcha. So like average Discord calls.
Wow, you went for the throat on Discord. How dare.
Yeah, well,
No, the bullshit
Shh,
the
shh.
other day, totally deserved. But but yeah, you do eventually, and you'll hear like someone rustling, sounds like fabric for a moment, and maybe like cinder blocks or something as you kind of like send a ping or a message down and can hear sort of just the, hello?
Yes, hello. I'm hoping to be able to help if I can. Can you tell me what's going on?
Um, Armageddon, I suppose? Fire from the sky?
Quick question, Joe.
Yes.
Would the ship, since I am in the chair right now, would the ship be telling me that we're sending a communication down? Would I know?
There would be notification of an outgoing, like, channel, but, as to the location of where it's being sent out from, not really.
Okay. No, is it where it's being sent to?
You do know it's being sent planet side. It's not hard to determine that part. Even if you weren't
Okay.
able to like have the scans for it, I mean, what else is around here right now?
Okay. Continue. I will pop back in when I feel it, in a couple of minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Uh,
Lovely.
um, I don't know how to explain it. We were kind of we were going about our routine, and there was just this heat from the sky, and there's I haven't seen
Where are you
anything
located?
um
Having like
in the
done a bit of research, would I know like general locations at this point?
Greywood district.
Okay.
Greywood district. It's nearby the
Okay.
R&D. Well, was nearby the R&D tower.
All right. I've never been there myself, but I can probably make my way. What's your name?
Iridia?
Can I cut off communications from here, from where I am?
I am going to make this a contested roll.
Yeah, that's fair. Because yeah, that's fair.
Because
'Cause
there's no
it's
way
sort of
Kavai is
interrupting.
going to just let that happen, and there's no
Yeah.
way that Leola is going to let that
No.
happen.
Yeah. So Kavai has the advantage. Leora's not that great at computers.
Yeah, this is quite literally. So here is where Kavai will be. What the hell is that? Kavai will be rolling.
Leora's advantage is that she has the command codes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
So we'll cross that in a second. So Kavai, you have the choice to do daring engineering or presence engineering. That is what you have available to you. And then Leora, you are actually going to just do a presence command roll. There will be-
Would cautious science apply here at all? Because I was trying to be like careful with what I was doing, or I'm not sure.
Not in this case, no.
Okay.
But there's going to be no difficulty here. You may add what you wish, and that will set the difficulty for each other.
Okay. Would team dynamics or infiltration come into this thing?
In this example, not really, because
Lead by example, possibly. I'm just throwing shit out there at this point, but
lead by example will work, but just so you know, it has a negative connotation to it.
no, that's fair. Okay. I don't think it's fair for me to buy a die, so I'm not going to.
Do whatever you want.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm buying a die then. I'm gonna give you a threat because we don't have any die, so take your threat, Joe.
Okay.
Let me look at my values real quick, see if I want to burn one. How badly does Leora not want people to talk to that on that planet right now? Does she want it badly enough to use a value?
Tell you what,
Yeah.
if you use one, I'll completely destroy one.
Ooh.
Well, this guy's interesting.
Tempting. That's tempting. That's really tempting. High risk, high reward. Would that apply?
Yes. Here is, and I'm going to tell you this straight up right now, Leola. You can do that. However, given how much strain you have on some of the crew, you may do that. But understand, you are not, at this point, the risk of mutiny is above 0%.
So the risk of mutiny is above 0% if I use the value or if I just like roll?
If you use the value, the risk of mutiny will go up. It doesn't mean it will happen, but certain actions you take from that point forward could be a catalyst or a trigger point.
And Leora's smart enough to know that. Okay, you know what, Leora, highest high reward is a value of Leora's, but comes a point where it's stupid. So yeah, I'm just gonna roll. I have 3 die. I'm just gonna roll.
Go for it.
Okay, have you rolled, Silver, or do I roll
Yeah.
first? Okay, I'll say mine first. I got 6.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, only one for me.
Okay. Then in the midst of this conversation, Kavai, your communicate just kind of fizzles out, and you do, like, hear the computer lockout noise.
It's spitting mad. I think I even like kicked the console that I'm at.
It does like a half transport as a reaction, just like
I flee from the room like that. It's just like, nope, that's one too far. Oh, fuck that thing. I'm taking all of my like rage of the situation out on transporters right now. Just like, nope, fuck you, I'm out.
all right.
So later on, Kavai does get a small message on her personal pad saying, "I'm sorry."
There's like I feel like there would be an Orion like turn of phrase that's like would be incredibly rude in any other circumstance, but among friends it can be taken lightly. But the fact that she uses it here is very much a case of like, I don't agree, go fuck yourself. Like, it's just like, I'm trying to, like, there's like, it's a very clear sign of I'm putting up this wall. You don't have my respect right now. And we are not okay. Your sorry is not accepted, is basically like the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leora doesn't like. You know what? No, they are gonna respond. They're just gonna say, "Fair enough."
With that whole event, Connor, what are you doing in this moment here?
I think Connor's trying to help the repair crew. Basically, rerouting like computer codes to streamline things. Like, oh, this area of the computer code is damaged. Reroute it to another one that's more in better shape.
All right, then you're probably interacting actually with the chief engineer, the Orion engineer, and she is multilingual, and any curse she has available to her, you have heard it by this point.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't. No, that unhooks there. That one goes there.
Alright, and she's doing that and goes, computer code is my trade, not repairing mechanical stuff.
Well, don't quit your day job. Not that I'm sorry. Not to be, well, to be a little rude, but not as rude. Just a lot's happened, and...
Understandable. I'm just trying to help where I can.
Well, hopefully.
I assume I have to make a roll of some type.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna make you do that to see if you're gonna at least get a little bit on our good side or just ruin things further. Um, Insight Engineering, difficulty 3.
That's 15 for me. Would my focus in computers help here?
No.
Alright. Composure?
Yeah, that would work.
Would the value family is everything, both biological and my Starfleet family count here?
Yes.
Alright, so 2 successes already. And do we have any momentum?
We have a lot, actually, because there was no set difficulty. So, you have 5 momentum as of right now.
Then I will buy a die instead of giving you threat for once.
Coward.
And rolling.
Somebody finally learned.
A 14, an 18, and a 9. So that's 4 successes.
Okay. I have a difficulty 3, back up to 5 momentum. She's a little impressed after a little bit. She's definitely still borderline mean to you about everything, but you're kind of just taking that as this might just straight up be her personality at this point. All right.
And one thing she will notice is that Hannah's hands, as they dance over the console controls, are like a pianist.
Mhm.
And very tight, controlled, and almost beautiful to look at. The way her fingers just fly over the consoles.
Mhm. That is quite impressive, actually. If you
Well-
were up on the bridge doing computer analyst, if you keep doing that here, you're gonna either suffer warp burns, electrical or chemical responses, or anything of the note. You will eventually injure your fingers. All I'm saying is
Well-
don't get too attached to them.
Yeah. Well, when you learned piano for 10 years as a child, you don't lose that muscle memory.
I'm starting to like you. Don't ruin this for me.
And she will close her mouth and just keep working to help destroy the ship.
After a little bit, she does get a blink on one of her computer screens, and she kind of flips it over. Oh, thank goodness. The Intrepid's here faster than I thought. But before we move on to that, Jaloran and Mira, you are both in sickbay right now, so is there anything that the two of you are doing?
Tallard's probably sleeping.
Okay.
She may have been assisted with sleeping. If McCoy decided I want my captain to sleep and I have chief medical authority right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mira would be back too, so there's that. I think you are unconscious, you are sleeping, and you are getting rest, but there is a point of it in which you feel a sense of unrest, except this time it's not yours. You will get rest, but as far as it being very restful, it might not be exactly what you're looking for. As for, Mira, Is there anything that she is doing? Little, you are presently muted if you are talking. Or the internet has betrayed them.
Technology.
Oh, I see the little note. Can jump a little bit on that. We can jump back there in a moment, but with okay, Lil, is there anything that Mira is
I'm
doing?
here. I'm here.
Yeah,
I-
good. Is there anything that Mira
I
is doing?
mean, are there any? Probably asked that the last time a question. Are there any like injured people that need
Oh yeah, there are a lot.
immediate help?
Yeah, sick bay is pretty
Exactly.
full
This
right
is
now.
what she's doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what her she is like really conflicted with what happened. On one hand, she was like really kind of, how do I say it? Was really panicking about this entire thing that was happening on the planet, but at the same time, yeah, that's a lot of people that died. It's really weird. On one hand, you're like, you wanted for someone to become less harmful, and then suddenly they're dead, and you're like feeling kind of guilty, but also it's weird. She's very conflicted, and she's currently working herself to the bone, trying to distract herself from like
Okay.
the thoughts.
Yeah, there are a lot of patients here. Two of which are in fact Starfleet medical personnel. So right now it is quite literally you and Ensign McCoy. So you are quotations working overtime when it comes to this, because you would typically have 4 medical officers dealing with this. You have 2, and so it does stretch you pretty thin. Yes, there is the added EMHs, stuff like that, but it is McCoy is stubborn in her own right, but I mean, there's just so many patients and stuff. But all right, I think with that being the
Nira
case,
will
then-
never, but she's quietly happy that she has so much to do.
Mhm.
She will never say it out loud because it's like really bad for a doctor to say this. But she just it's it's a distraction. It's a very good distraction.
Back up on the bridge though, there is a notification for you, Leora, that the USS Intrepid actually arrived way sooner than you were expecting. It seems like they really pushed their warp core to get here in 3 hours instead of the predicted 6.
That's good.
USS Intrepid, as it warps into screen, is it is, as you would expect, it is an Intrepid class vessel, but it is an Intrepid refit, and on top of that, it is it looks almost brand new.
Cool. Like Parvliora, like the ship loving Parvliora like notes it, but the rest of Leora does not really care right now.
Mm-hmm. You are getting hailed by the USS Intrepid.
I'll take it.
On screen is someone that you haven't interacted with in a very long while. Previously, she wore Operation Gold, but she now sports the Command Red and has the pips of a captain, is one Captain Ashlyn Orso, who is, if we were to cast her, of course, she would be Kristen Ritter. So, but she looks
Oh, my heart.
like the look she gives you is pitiful. So
The
they
look
let you
Leora gives her
fly-
is just like neutral.
Did you fly the ship? Is this one your fault, or
Technically, no. Um, we have a lot going on right now. I'll fill you in, but suffice to say, we're kind of messed up right now. Quick question out of character, Joe.
yes?
Two things. One, what was the protocol that I enacted that allowed me to destroy that facility?
It would essentially be called something along the lines of the temporal conservation like act or protocol, in which something that does not belong to a timeline has to be eradicated at all costs because it can corrupt said timeline.
All right, and second, is that something I can say over communication channel, or do I have to say it to her in person?
Nope, it would be an in-person conversation.
Yeah, there are some things going on that I need to tell you in person, Captain. But right now, my ship is not in the best of shape right now.
How about we dock with your ship? Because I'm gonna make an assumption and assume that your
Transporters are not good. No,
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to risk it, go for it. But I would recommend
I
it.
don't. I don't want room in my face. All right.
I wouldn't want to either.
There's after I'd say 20 minutes that protocol she'll be aboard. And looks.
Yeah, we're in we're in the
at me.
captain's waiting room,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically fill her in on pretty much everything that happened.
She's sitting down in the opposite chair, kind of like processing it a little bit. Well, I, for one, don't have a ton of experience when it comes to that, but I would say it seems like you weren't given much of a choice.
I calculated the other option at 60%, 60% success rate, which was not good enough.
I think, Commander, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you we are aware of the open distress calls that are being made from the planet.
I would like to help. I would have liked to help. I would have. I do, but we don't have. My ship didn't have the staff. We just didn't. We need everyone repairing the ship, and a third of my crew is dead.
I have
No, a
300
fifth of my crew. Yeah.
Commander, I have 300 enlisted and officers. I can spare some and give your crew a break.
Okay. Yeah. Lyra was about to break down for a second, but then the captain interrupted her, and that sort of like kicked her back onto the tracks a little bit. It's like, so she's like, "Oh, yeah, thank you, Captain."
Let your crew know that I have 3 working holodecks, and if they need some time away, well, my crew helps with repairs.
Thank you, Captain. I'll let everyone know, and I'll send out the order for the rest of my crew to take a nap or just relax or do something like that.
I will. I've already gone ahead and sent a message to Starfleet Command and see what available options are for us out here.
I'm never gonna say this in front of my crew, but I really did not want to do that. But sometimes we have to do stuff we don't like.
That I can relate to. Not on this scale, Commander, but I can relate to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. But so, are you relieving me of command, or am I still in command of this ship until Captain
Relieving
Jaloran?
you of command for at least 4 hours.
Okay, okay. Give me 2 minutes, and Blair will just basically send a message saying everyone can stop repairing and stop crews, and like relief crews are coming over, and like saying they got 3 holodecks and all that stuff. Like just basically giving everyone the equivalent of shore leave without it actually being shore leave because we have nowhere to be ashore at.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, just giving everyone like time to do whatever they need.
It's
And
really what she's offering is she's giving your crew time to process more than
yeah,
anything.
yeah, I know. Liara knows that too, but she's not gonna say give time to process. She's just not gonna. It's because that would be projecting that she think that like what she did was wrong, and well, she thinks that she can't project that. Otherwise, everyone else is gonna, she has to
Otherwise,
project
it
that
puts
she
the
did.
command decision into question, yeah.
Yeah, she has to project that she did the right thing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which she's been doing so far. But yeah, sure. So she looked at the captain, and says, "Okay, I stand relieved, sir."
There is a everyone uses it aboard the Intrepid. There is a very comfy back corner booth in 10 forward.
I'll let someone else have that. And maybe dismiss, sir.
I'm not gonna stop you.
All right. And Leora walks out. Leora walks she goes to the door before it opens, and she's like takes a breath, puts the mask back on, quote unquote mask. She doesn't have an actual mask, just making sure everyone knows. Puts the mask back on, and command mask. Walks out like she's been, and then they just walk away. They with the captain behind him, and she goes, "Captain has the bridge. If you need me, I'm a call away. Good work, everybody." And she'll walk away.
There is a tap on Captain Orso's comm badge, and it just is a ship-wide communication. Attention Hypatia and Intrepid. As of this moment, for the next 6 to 8 hours, I will be in command of both vessels. During such time, I advise that the crew of the Hypatia take some R&R and rest. Intrepid crew, you know what to do. Please give them some relief. In the next hour or so, I'll be receiving a communique from Starfleet Command, and we will take it from there. One step at a time, people. Orso out.
So Kana takes after her grandmother a lot, and she ignores that command and keeps working because she's a workaholic.
Mm-hmm. The chief engineer will actually, stop you. Lieutenant?
Just this last line of code, and I will go to sleep. I promise.
Lieutenant, I'm a workaholic too. I know that's not gonna happen. So, and I know you do outrank me and all, but I think you should consider taking a rest. None of us had had a rest in the past 24 hours.
You see a look of conflict over. Well, she sees a look of conflict over Kana's face. Does 2 more taps and then takes her hand away from the console.
The chief engineer will slide over and type in something that you're not quite able to grasp, and your whole, like, console area you're working on just shuts down and locks out. And she put her, like, full-on lockout code on it. So you
And
can
kinda-
log in.
Yeah, and he kind of knows enough about command codes to know that she's been knocked out. And so she will walk out of main engineering, head to her quarters, and I think she doesn't even realize that she's hit the pillow of the bed before she just passes out.
Yep. Alright. Sounds good. Okay, there we go. Bye-bye, bot, loser. But, yeah,
Joe aggressively.
dude, I hate those bots so much.
Same.
Amen.
Yeah, I would say the next... Well, actually, curious then, because Kavai would have heard that ship-wide announcement too. Is there anything that Kavai is... Does that inspire anything, or is it still... stuff?
It's one thing to take my chances with my own people. I'm not going to try anything stupid under someone else's watch. I do think they end up reserving a holodeck spot
Mm-hmm.
and use all of that downtime and just like fuck with their systems and probably like overclock it. But like they finish those repairs, and by the time she's done that, her slot's already over, and she's just like literally just found in there like drooling asleep on a console or some shit.
Alright.
Can I say what Leora's doing?
Yeah, go for it.
So Leora is doing 2 things. One, writing condolence letters for all the people on her crew that died, for the families, personalized ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, so she's starting with the lieutenant who was her sergeant in command,
Mm-hmm.
and for pretty much everyone, just in case, she's writing glowing letters of recommendation for everyone. And if they want to leave after this mission, she'll give them a letter of recommendation for wherever they want to go. Basically, she's writing letters of recommendation for everyone, basically, except for Jaloran for obvious reasons. But everyone else, if anyone wants to leave, like she's not gonna say this out loud, but if anyone wants to leave, she is going to
That's
send a
like
letter of
set in the
recommendation.
file already, yeah.
Yeah, basically, everyone's files has like starting with the lieutenant and then going down
Staff
the entire crew. Yeah, the entire everyone, including like PCs too. Like if whoever wants to leave, they have a glowing recommendation, basically some sort of version of like cool under, like very glowing, like, and talks about like cool under fire and you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
As glowing as she can.
Absolutely gets misinterpreted.
Oh yeah, Lyra is not thinking that far ahead.
Yeah. But somewhere else, in sick bay, Jaloran, as you are coming to, Captain Orso is actually sitting on like one of the nearby stools, waiting for you to wake up.
She's a bit groggy, and like she does try to sit up a bit. But it is a little bit more tentative than the first time. It's like she's expecting somebody to push her back down again.
There is like a look from Ensign McCoy, like, you sit up too fast, I will make sure you lay down. But she's not gonna do anything. She's preoccupied right now. But Captain Orso kind of looks at you, Jaloran, slightly groggy. You know, I think this is the first time I've seen you sleeping on the job.
It probably is. I try not to make a habit of it, I swear.
Yeah, well, I think everyone in your crew would advise that you get more rest than you actually do.
That I have heard before.
And yet you still don't do it. So, someone's the problem.
She just stares at the ceiling.
Captain, are you aware of what protocols have been implemented?
Unfortunately, no.
I know you just came to, but as the fellow command officer, you deserve to be read into the loop. So she'll hand off a pad that is in like Starfleet encrypted standards. So unless you're of, you know, level 10 security clearance or above, you really can't read it. But that's not a problem for you.
She quirks an eyebrow at the captain before she starts perusing it.
I wasn't here, so I'm not here to cast judgment. All I'm here is to let you know that there will be backlash regardless, and I just want you to not be caught flat-footed on that.
It is appreciated, Captain.
She looks at like a smaller personal pad. Looks like I have to head to the bridge. I'm about to have a call with Starfleet Command and see what we do out here.
I'll join you as soon as I'm cleared.
McCoy will actually, like, be there, like, the moment you say that, and she looks you up and down. She's cleared. It's just, if she starts to look like she's lightheaded, dizzy, or stressing herself out, send her back down here. Also, Captain, no offense, but another patient could use this bed. Your beauty rest is, over.
That gets a wry chuckle from Jolord, but she nods understanding. He's like, what little that she can recall is like she's aware enough to realize, like, yeah, there's definitely more critical patients at the moment.
Well, Captain, would you like to join me on this delightful Starfleet Command call that we're about to take?
She gestures towards the door. Lead the way.
I know you just woke up, but the last person I was talking to that was part of Starfleet Command who I've been interacting with fairly directly through this whole event is, well, you two don't get along.
Wonderful.
Making your way to the bridge, there is a crewman that flips on the screen, and there is a 4-star admiral, and that would be Admiral Edward Jellicoe.
Great.
Captains?
That's the internal affairs guy, right?
No. Admiral Edward
Jellicoe.
Jellicoe is he is the acting head of Starfleet Command.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry. So we have so many commanders, so many admirals. I forgot their names.
Captains. I'm glad to
Jellicoe
see
was
you.
a bit of a pain on Next Gen.
Mhm. And he didn't chill out in Prodigy either.
Amen.
Yes, she is human. Admiral, I hope my report was sent to you. It was, Captain. And you, to use old terms, you phoned ahead. Why? Well, there are people down below that could use our assistance. Right, a civilization that launched armaments towards you. And from all descriptors thus far have proven hostile. Admiral, it's our obligation as Starfleet officers to lend aid where we can. If they want the help, Captain. Captain Orso is looking a little bit kind of in this state of she's really good at biting her tongue, but there's a lot more she wants to say, but knows damn well she better not. Alright, well, I just arrived on scene a few hours ago, Admiral. Perhaps the captain of the vessel could inform you in greater detail?
Jaloran has scooched over to a console, and then it's she's tapping away for something apparently. But as Orso ends, she just looks up and she says, while it's true that the civilization had previously been rather hostile towards us, it may not be true any longer. And then she pulls up a recording of the call, the emergency comm, and just plays back the clip that was basically the all broadcast of whoever it was is clearly asking for assistance.
Yeah, well, they could have considered that before launching a torpedo. Admiral, I think... oh, good. Wow, what is happening to your vessel, Captain? Everything just seems to be breaking down. No, don't you dare click.
Joloran
I love
just
her.
That's gonna
shares
be
a grin with the other captain.
That's going to be a court martial. But as seeing as I am the only Starfleet vessel, aside from the Hypatia, that is out here for the next 42 light years, we are Starfleet right now.
And you're certainly within your command prerogative to provide assistance as is stated within our directives. When you arrived on scene, they were asking for assistance.
That is true. I mean, I didn't get the full picture. It's a lot of hearsay, I think.
And we're still trying to compile reports together, and it's like, and the crew talks.
Just above game. Lyra did compile every single report. You have all that, and you know it.
She
But like,
knows.
you're
She
just,
knows.
but,
She's
yeah.
just she's providing cover.
Yeah, I know. I'm just providing context for this situation for people who might not know. Lyra did compile everything. This is so I'm just providing context.
She also kind of like plays with a couple of the pips on her collar and looks down. Well, these were nice while I had them.
Depending on how things play out, you could still have them. Jellicoe is not the end-all be-all of what goes.
No. And, well, I have my own friends in high places.
Nice cup of Ractigino, and I'm sure you'll be just fine.
Well, she is the one who suggested I take command of this type of vessel.
She is a beauty.
I mean, compared to your little toy, yeah.
With mine, it's what's under the hood that counts.
No, we're not going deeper on that one, Captain. I think I'm just gonna call it quits while I'm ahead.
I, for one, will continue to appreciate yours. I do love the design aesthetics of the Intrepid.
I do miss that her nacelles don't go up and down. It's a weird little quirk of the originals, but...
Yeah, it is a shame they did take that out.
Anyways, when your command team has appropriately recovered, why don't you have them meet me in the conference room of my vessel, and we'll break down a plan.
Absolutely. In the meantime, she holds up the pad. I've got some catching up to do.
Yeah. And also, Captain, while you may have context, I don't think either of us will ever have the full understanding of how much that decision is going to weigh on your commander.
Agreed.
Good luck catching up.
I'm going to need it.
We'll wind the clocks forward a little bit. As everyone who wishes to attend this conference room meeting can.
Kana definitely will.
Same with Mira.
Okay.
Fun fact, she didn't at all take a break. And she's still got those mad eyes.
Yeah.
Leora will be there.
Okay. What about Kavai? That's the question here.
They definitely have to take a little extra time to like compose themselves, but she will attend.
All right. This is probably the strangest situation that all of you have experienced as of late throughout this mission. Is Jaloran is not taking like center stage within this like conference room. It's as it would be usual. It is Captain Orso as she takes a look and sees how kind of beaten down you all look. All right. Well, Starfleet Command has encouraged me to get repairs underway and have you warp back to the nearest starbase, and I do the same. I have elected to ignore that decision. So anyone, and she's looking to some of her senior staff as well, so anyone who is not comfortable with that, please depart the conference room and write any formal complaints that you wish to. And for the crew of the Hypatia, this is what I am offering you. I am offering you the chance to offer aid. That being said, we will not overstay our welcome if it becomes apparent it is too dangerous for us or for you.
Leora will say, the only reason I didn't provide aid in the first place is because we didn't have the numbers. We just didn't. So right now, I'm willing to offer aid.
Normally, under certain circumstances, I would say blending in with the civilization would be the effective option. However, I think secrecy is to our detriment at this point. I think transparency is the only thing that is going to get us anywhere.
I would recommend that the Intrepid take the lead on this one. It's like, who knows how many of them down there got a good look at the Hypatia.
The Intrepid will run point and act as a forward operating base and command center for this operation. That being said, your people have been on the ground more.
We can certainly provide intel and information where we can.
Make no mistake, I will not be sending you down there without a security detail. While we are offering aid, I am also operating under the assumption that we will encounter some form of resistance.
My suspicion is that there are divided factions down there at the moment. The faction that is trying to retain control, that is actively hostile, and a faction that is simply looking for assistance. We may run into both. So the security teams would certainly be encouraged.
Captain, if going down there, you would take lead on the ground. I'll take lead up here and run interference for any bureaucratic interruptions. That being said, we will not be the only vessel out here for much longer. 42 light years is a long ways, but there are vessels that can make that trip in a reasonable amount of time.
we don't have too much information on, like, anyone that would answer it in the area.
She could provide like one of the vessels that would potentially could interrupt you, and it would be within their obligation to stop you. But the commanding officer in charge, while they would follow that order, they would hate every second of it. And the closest vessel that would be in this part of the Beta Quadrant right now would actually be the USS Titan. And if they were ordered to intercept, they would intercept you in, even at maximum warp, 12 hours.
Okay.
Leora will say, I'll help coordinate things from up here.
If you say so, Commander. Alright, everyone. You know your jobs? First thing is making contact. Second is applying aid if they are able or willing to take it. Those going planet side, Transporter Room 1 is open and ready to go.
Mira doesn't say anything. She just gets up and goes to the transporter one.
Chana will stay on board ship and do hacks to find out what the news on the planet is saying about, so that we have more information. Basically, trying to hack the satellite networks,
Okay.
but using the Intrepid sensor platforms to do so,
Mm-hmm.
which are a bit more advanced than the Hypatians.
Wildly advanced, actually.
Because she leaves the conference room at the mention of going down planet. Chana looks a little embarrassed before she heads to the bridge.
Alright, so Mira's going planet side, Kana's staying up here, Leora's staying up here. Anyone else going planet side?
Sounds like
Leave Mira alone. Go ahead.
I
See what
was
that
tempted
fucking
to
gives
go
you.
with.
By the sounds of it, Captain Orso wants Deloran to go planet side as well. But she's gonna pull Kavai aside for a moment.
Captain?
I'm just checking in. How are you feeling?
I'm not.
I'm sorry.
That gets an eyebrow quirk.
Into the chat right now. I feel like this is relevant. Sorry.
Deloran just gives Kavai a fairly steady look. I am aware that your communication was cut off.
Yeah, apologies.
I understand the instinct. But sometimes we have to take the whole picture into consideration before we try to help.
Understood. Wherever you think I would be best. I did have some ideas. of what we could do. Obviously, nothing on my end would be probably immediately beneficial. But they're just kind of like mulling things over.
What I am trying to get at, Kavai, is that now we have help. We're in a better position to go help.
Hmm.
Would you like to come along and help?
I'm not really good with the whole face-to-face thing, obviously, but if we can at least start finding some of these groups who oppose the more violent tendencies of their leaders, the better. She looks like she's very deliberately trying to choose her words carefully. I can definitely start putting out feelers. Their systems are strange, but not the worst I've ever worked with. I don't know. I guess I just feel,
With any resistance group, they're probably using the popular media as a cover.
yeah, I guess I'm just trying to make sure that we don't counter propaganda with propaganda. Like, it very much like the way her expression would move across her face. Like, it looks like the words are like just even saying that is bitter, and you get the feeling that there's something more to that than she's willing to let on, perhaps.
Yeah, she just nods and doesn't try to push. For now, let's focus on who's trying to provide help. Let's help the helpers.
She'll nod. I like that idea. Yeah.
Let's see if we can locate where they're at first before we try to transport down.
I think like that just gets that's easy. Like just like, oh, I know how to find a radio tower.
Quickest, because of the technology not being of the same era that you're accustomed to, quickest geographical triangulation ever.
I think it's just like Kavai has this sort of expression of just like, oh, that's cute. Like it's just like they don't know what they don't know.
That's adorable. I'm a champion geoguesser.
Oh my god. Real life me? No, never gonna happen. I love the idea of that for Kavai though.
Yeah.
And Jolene is just pleased that she was able to give Kavai something to do.
All right. Split two ways. Then Jolene, Kavai, and Mira will beam down planet side with a security detail of 6 security officers as well. They are going to be armed with 2 of them armed with just phasers, and then 4 of them armed with phaser rifles because they're not even going to take chances. These would be people that the Captain Orso has provided because your crew is way too tired to deal with this.
Okay, cool. I would definitely like chat one up just to learn a little bit more about their captain, just sort of on a sort of like gossipy scale.
Okay. probably a first-year ensign. He definitely seems rather young, but eager to help this, whatever the hell this is. Sure. Is there? I guess is there something you're looking to know?
Just your general feelings on your captain. Like, I know that I've got my feelings on mine, and I'm as loyal as I can be. But I don't know. I know everybody wants to think the best of their own, but
She's very strict. But fair in her rulings and she has a very, I guess, family-oriented approach. Is if one of our crew members is injured, then it's all of us backing that one crew member. So
would I get the sense that it's like family as in like retail family, or like very much more personal? Like she's got gruff exterior but like warm squishy inside type thing.
what you're getting is she is willing to follow protocol and rules to a very strict degree, but if she finds a loophole or finds something she does not agree with that she thinks is like morally reprehensible or unacceptable, she will do whatever she can to kind of circumnavigate that in staying still within the rules of protocol. Which is what
Okay,
she's
that-
doing right now, basically.
Sweet. Okay, that absolutely like warms me more up to this than anything I've seen so far. Cool. I feel good about
Because,
this.
I mean, Kvi wasn't there for this, but the conversation that Jaloran and Orzo had, her whole thing was like, well, I only heard the distress signal. I don't have the context for this, so I'm just going to operate on what I heard. I got context later, so meh.
So specifically what she said is nah. This is a quote.
I'm here for it.
But
Cool.
I'm operating on the information that I received when I arrived.
Dope. I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, what's this guy's name? Like, who am I talking to? What's their deal?
I don't have a name. I'll just admit that.
I'm
straight
sorry.
But
Cool. I still buddy up with them anyway.
yeah, seems willing to. You as you're kind of talking, you do eventually, you walking across this, sort of a low, like, hill and rocky terrain before coming over and realizing it isn't rocky terrain or it's not a hill or anything. You do come upon a crater in the ground.
Fuck.
I wonder what made this one.
I'm like halfway up this hill. Everybody else can go on ahead of me. Fuck this.
This crater here, the impact zone, as you were seeing the full context of it, Jaloran, you might be observing this a little closer, and same with Mira. You're probably the two that pick up on this the fastest. I think Kavai doesn't want to deal with the immediate thought of it right now. The R&D like tower or building that got destroyed, it's gone. But the Grey Ward district where you're kind of looking around is kind of where part of this crater leads into. Looking around, it's mostly a civilian area.
Fun. Okay.
Jaloran just kind of puts that aside for the moment, and she's already looking around for what looks to be like the closest triage area and somebody that looks like they seem to be quote unquote in charge of coordinating what's
There's definitely small tents and stuff that have been pitched, like just quick like triage areas, and there's people that look very similar to Mira, kind of that sort of eye color and light blue freckling. A woman that looks, the way she is dressed, she looks like she's probably doctor of some kind or a nurse or something, but the attire definitely suggests a lot more of like someone who has been probably experienced combat or fighting their entire life. And you can definitely tell that by like the firearm type of device they have strapped to their left leg. As you
Is
kind of-
someone coming from Mira's brand?
is no as you approach, like she is very quick on the draw, and literally every
Genuinely,
single one of
like,
the
Mira is just gonna follow Jaloran everywhere. And the moment she notices the tents with people getting medical attention, she's kind of you can see her body like leaning into there, but she's not going to move in until Jaloran gives an okay.
yeah, this person also did draw their firearm like at a ready stance at a very quick speed, and all the security officers like ready as well.
Yeah, no, just like she drew the firearm. Mira is still up front and like chest forward. She's staring directly into that person's eyes. Full on, she's not backing down.
As that happens, Jaloran is definitely going to step forward and like just try to put palms out. She's definitely going to try to like she doesn't prevent Mira from moving forward, but it's like she just stepped forward enough so that she can put an arm across. Is like no further. But like she's just trying to like be conciliatory. Like, it's okay. We're here to help.
Where are you from? These aren't typical government uniforms, so special division?
I'm gonna do stupid and choose this exact opportunity to just wheezing and out of breath climb to the top of the hill. Just me, very bright green, clearly alien. Like, like just hand on Mira's back. Dad, I don't know how you guys do that. That shit sucks. Hi.
Someone talk
Mira-
in the next 10 seconds, or I just pull this trigger.
Ah,
Mira
shit.
pulling out a little bit of water from her pocket, and she kind of stares the other person down. Yeah, we're not from here. And what you're gonna do about it? Kill us? When you're clearly in need of help? Sure, shoot us. Come on.
Jaloran sternly looks at Mira. That's enough.
Would I have picked up enough on the language just to be able to mouth the word medic and point at Mira?
Yeah.
So, like, make eye contact with this woman? Okay, yeah, I definitely do that. I'm just like, they're a medic.
They, like, force the hammer forward quickly so it doesn't fire before holstering their weapon again.
To
Okay.
answer your question, No, we're not from here. We heard an emergency comm.
And so, I mean, it was always suspected. I mean, we do a little bit of space travel, but I'm guessing you're from beyond our reach.
Would it
That's
be
correct.
fair to sorry? Would it be fair to say I could have potentially like been like whoever I'd been communicating with, like whatever like call signs that are used, like is that like a thing that I could be like, well, we spoke with this person type thing?
One of the call
Well,
signs you might have heard just like as like just a thing. It's just a small little chat, like it's chatter amongst like propaganda almost, where you hear like a specific like something that's been a thorn in a side, almost the way it was described. Which a rough translation would just be like sunrise is kind of the rough translation. It's probably not the most accurate, but it's close enough.
Okay.
But I think Kavai would be picking up on the fact that Jaloran is trying to present a helpful front, but also not giving away very much. She's clearly trying to be cautious with what she says. But she does confirm for the medical person. It's like, yeah, that we're from beyond the system. And we heard an emergency comm and we're responding to that. And we understand that there's been and can see that something very catastrophic happened, and we're here to provide medical help and any other supplies that you may need to support your people.
Okay, all right. That's impressive, but so was the weapon of mass destruction that caused this. So I assume also not from. I mean, our planet certainly does a good job at being at war with itself, but I'm guessing this wasn't them. Adversaries of yours? Spiteful actions?
We were not in active combat with anybody when this occurred. We were in a system nearby. We did see a ship leaving, but we're not sure of their intentions.
Alright. You just talked your way out of a through and through, so you're lucky on that one. Does your medic actually know her stuff, or am I just gonna get menacingly stared at the whole time?
Are you
We'll
going to
laugh
let
at that.
me around your people, or are you just going to point a weapon at us?
Alright, you know what, smartass, follow me.
She is going to follow me.
Jaloran just quirks an eyebrow at that, and like her internal thought is like, these two are going to get on fabulously with their matching bedside manner.
Oh yeah, delightfully. Mira is actually really good when it comes to bedside manners, but also it's like, how do I say it correctly? She's not in quite the mood right now.
Valid.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It was like the two of them
What's the
seem
person
like
played by the way? I want to know. What are we working with here?
Let's think.
yeah, it's like, so I was thinking like Jaloran can pick up on the fact that they would have similar, like they're very considerate of their patients, but also very gruff exterior. It's like they're very much like the woman comes off as very much like an older Mira.
You know what? I'm drawing a
I like
blank. Does anyone
have
a
one.
suggestion? Yeah,
I do. Gwendolyn Christie.
that's a really good. That's a really good choice.
Ooh.
All right, yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't know who that is.
Have you seen Game of Thrones?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Lynn just posted it in chat.
Oh! Oh,
For
yeah.
For our
I know her.
viewers.
Game
I
of
know her
Thrones?
from something.
Yeah.
Isn't she from Wednesday?
Yeah. No, she's from Wednesday,
Yes.
but where I know her from is Game of Thrones. She played Brienne of Tarth.
What have I seen?
Yeah.
This is gonna drive me insane.
She also plays Lucifer in Sandman.
Okay. Cool. I knew I was not okay for a reason.
Okay. Anyways,
Shit, I love her.
yeah, definitely not as neat and kept. Definitely a little more someone who's definitely seen conflict. But she
So
leads
Brienne
you
of Tarth.
ahead, and there is probably rows of like triage tents and some other people that are equally dressed. Helping with like triage, but you are seeing, the rows of tents count into dozens upon dozens. There's enough patience for you, kid?
Sure, old grandma. And she's gonna pull out her, medical stuff, of course.
Sure. We'll have to talk about how you got beyond our star system. That feels strange.
And how about we don't? And you kind of like, she melts a little bit as she says it. I don't think it's an interesting story for you.
A lot of us don't have very interesting stories, so I understand.
She kind of like nods. There is a sort of a thankful nod to show that like she is grateful that she wasn't pressed on it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to kind of approach the first person that looks like the worst and start working on them. And she's much, much gentler than she was with the
Yeah.
person.
As
Oh
you-
yeah, before
continue.
sorry, I forgot. Actually, rude. Sorry. What is your name?
Iridia.
Mira. And she kind of turns back to the patient.
As you're working on this patient, Kavai and Jaloran, just your initial like thoughts upon seeing the like quick count, you're probably looking at over 200 triage tents.
Jaloran's already got a pad out and she's doing quick notations of what could be easily replicated and swiftly transported down to the triage area that like could really blend in with anything here. It's like nothing that brands it as Starfleet specifically.
I have a slight idea. since our people are, okay now that we have other staff up top, could they send the uh, portable hologram down, and all it would take is just reconfiguring the appearance settings to set it to work here.
Jaloran would ixnay that idea. She's more focused on stuff that they can leave behind. And
Gotcha.
yeah, because she knows that they have a short timeline. So anything that they can provide them with immediately, and then it's like she doesn't want to give them too much false hope about what they can do. So she's just aiming for how to meet the immediate need.
Yes, and I will tell you.
So bandages and medication and
Gotcha. That makes sense.
more cots for beds.
Yeah.
Well, I leave folks smarter to take care of that.
Yeah. I will say though, Jaloran, even as you're doing that, some of the people that you are seeing in these triage tents as patients, you do know how to play a numbers game. The devastation here it's gonna be, a focal point in their history for decades and centuries to come. And there is no denying that even with your help, probably 2/3 of these people aren't going to make it.
Yeah, she seems to be peripherally aware of that. And she's not sure of what sort of stories they may tell later, but she's hoping that at least at this point their part in the story is a positive one.
What a beautiful note to take a break on.
Yay.
So we will be back in 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 if we're liars, but
Much obliged.
be back. Welcome back. We're not gonna, anyways, doing, before break, our command team kind of split up and is dealing with the aftermath of the, consequences of their own actions.
Technically my actions, but yes.
Consequences of their own actions. On the ground, there is, as you were noting, Lauren, there is you could leave a fair amount of medical supplies here. What you would be doing to do that, though, is you would probably be overhauling the replicator to do that, but it is entirely possible. Again, just playing that simple numbers game, you don't have to make, for every triage tent, just the ones that have the highest probability.
So wait, that was for me. I'm sorry. I was like coughing up a storm.
No, you're
I
good.
kind of missed a bit of that.
So on the ground for Kavai, Mira, and Jaloran, looking at these triage tents, it's very apparent that only about a third of these individuals have the highest percentile likelihood of surviving this whole incident. The other 2/3, very unlikely. Jaloran was doing stuff to see if they could get supplies down, and while Jaloran can do that, she does not have to do that with, every triage tent that you can see. That is Jaloran's prerogative to do what she thinks is necessary here. But yeah, you will not be able to. It is just unrealistic at this point to believe that you could help everyone.
Yeah, and she's gonna grimace at the numbers game, and she's just going to try to do as much good as possible. So it's like as much as the replicators can handle without overclocking them. It's like getting it down. I was like, even if there is some, like, she knows a large number is not going to make it, but if they can provide at least some comfort before they go, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's as much as they can manage as possible.
Okay.
Trying not to think about like how many people she can't help. She is instead like laser focusing on one person, and when she's finished with them, she's laser focusing on the other, and she just allows the the leader to kind of pull her around and place her near the next patient.
Okay. Then aboard the USS Intrepid with Kana and Leora, what are you doing up here?
So-
You go first, Vance.
So Kana has hacked their systems before,
Mm-hmm.
and does she still have that back door open, or have they fixed it?
It's not that they've fixed it, and it's not that the back door is still open. It is literally the shockwave impact has just knocked it out.
Okay, then using the Intrepid systems, she's going to try and reconnect that back door and try and see, well, basically what the airwaves are saying, and then try and see if she can get into any back channels that are not public.
Okay, so here is what has happened. The biggest thing that's happened here is one, immediately, there's the typical media of devastation. We've never experienced something this large before, blah, 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 blah. The other thing from the governmental aspect is it has done, unfortunately, what you're seeing here, it's kind of done initially, at least for the public, it's done kind of the opposite of what you would have hoped to happen. It has not, caused further division between factions. If anything, it has caused more of a unification in the wrong direction. Any persons that were kind of oh, we should, be open to like meeting different people and things like that. The government has kind of gone over as like, see, this is what happens if we do that. So it has
Fear mongering, essentially.
yeah, and unfortunately, with a devastation like this, it is kind of working with little effort.
Hmm. So going back to government back channels, would I be able to find out if there's any footage of the future tech in that warehouse? Like protected the footage?
No, they would not have had any type of like recordings for that.
Hmm. What about government memos?
That, on the other hand, is available. But they're
Protected, I assume.
oh yeah, they're protected, but comparative, like their security systems versus your computer systems,
Yeah. So basically, Hana's going, with the permission of Intrepid's captain, is going to run a counter propaganda thing by basically being WikiLeaks from our world and broadcasting that they had stolen tech. And that basically they brought this on themselves for having someone's tech that they were not supposed to have.
okay. Unfortunately, Connor, this is going to be a role.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a presence command role with a difficulty of 4. And I will be
You
spending
could have to do a really good job of.
and I will be spending 5 threat.
Okay, so how much momentum do we have?
I believe we've gone down a couple scenes. I believe we're at like 1 or 2 at most. Because
Red
we've
two.
gone down a couple scenes, yeah.
Yeah, we
So
had
I-
5, so we're down to like 3.
1, 2,
I hate
3. Yeah, you're done.
I hate to ask this, but could I use all 3 to buy 4 die?
I had another question. Even though I'm not present, is this something I could still assist with, but like narratively flavor it as you would know that Kavai has systems like built for exactly this purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and you could just steal her shit, essentially?
Yes, I will allow that. The threat and everything is still going to apply though.
All right,
Of course.
and I assume hacking will come into play here.
Hacking will not come into play here. You already know you can hack their systems and stuff. That's not the
Mhm.
important issue here. This is social politics that you are doing. This is not
Then,
hacking.
in a weird way, would my diplomacy focus work in this instance?
Diplomacy, yes.
Okay, so
Can Leora assist? Like, because Leora is like pretty good at this stuff, so like just telling kind of what to say and stuff.
mm,
Yes, and remember, we can only have a total of 5 dice being rolled. So,
yeah,
Okay, so it's like four dice from Vance and 1 dice from Silver. So yeah, if
So-
Vance buys
Or-
all their momentum.
Or or if we want to hold on to one of our momentum, it would be 3 dice for Vance and then 1 each from Silver and Leora.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Or 1 each from Kavai and 1 from Leora.
hmm
and I have studious, intense scrutiny, bold science, and untapped potential as my talents. So I think one of those lets me re-roll a die if I buy a die, correct?
No, bold science only lets you reroll a die if you spend a threat.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
and
what?
only for
So
a
is-
science-based roll. This is not a science-based roll.
yeah, so my thing would be President's Command. I'm assuming.
It's presence command for everyone.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 11 for me. So anything 11 and below. All right.
Would infiltration be a good thing?
Hmm.
I got a 13.
This is propaganda that we're talking about, counter propaganda.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Potentially, yeah.
I would, yeah,
Okay.
because you'd be helping argue for the counter.
Oh wait, do assists get focuses? I forget.
I'm gonna
I
allow
think
it.
they're just straight. Oh.
Here is what I'm going to say. I am going to allow it, but I will say then, if you do not roll it, like if you do not hit the mark to add to this success, the results may end up being catastrophic. Like you may do more damage than good here.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So I rolled. I got a 13, a 9, and a Starfleet Chevron on my commanders.
So
That's a crit.
that's a crit, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
that's a crit.
That's 4. Wait, no, that's 3 because you got 13, which in your thing is 11.
Yeah. So
Okay.
3 successes
Okay.
so far.
Success
Okay.
on my end.
Silver, you good?
Okay.
And Leora is apparently really on her game right now because she got 1.
All right. Perfect.
6.
So yeah, 6. 3, 4. Yeah.
Okay.
And what was the difficulty again?
Difficulty was 4.
Yeah, so 2 momentum to us. So we have like 3, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're
Or
back
4.
up to 3. 3.
It
Okay.
is you like it is enough. You're kind of doing enough, and actually Kavai is like implemented sort of like, you know, slash command codes are making this way easier than if you were just doing this from scratch.
Mhm.
It was something that I mentioned earlier about having thought about, then decided not to do. So then I see that shit, and then you immediately get locked out with a like, "What the fuck? Get out! This is my shit." But that's just for flavor.
Yeah.
And Leora will see that there's beads of sweat on Kana's temple, and her hands are shaking slightly as she's just still with that piano precision of doing the dance across the Elcars.
Mm-hmm. The
Leora,
continue.
sorry. Leora puts a hand on Kana's shoulder and just like doesn't really say anything, but like I think part of Leora's help is just like being like the calm, being kind of like Jaloran a little bit, like the calming presence that like you need, the calm, like calm assured, like you got this and all that stuff.
And with a ragged breath, you see Kana start to calm down and just laser focus on.
Alright.
And she sends a message out to all of the news channels.
Alright. So here is where you have succeeded in this sort of tossing out like counter propaganda and stuff like that, or you know, putting out your truth. There is no guarantee that people will gravitate towards this or listen to it or believe it, but it is out there, and those that want some form of change will be looking for it. But from where you are right now, that is as much as you can do as anything, because you can guide them to a direction, you cannot force them to act.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be their prerogative and their decision.
And she will look behind her shoulder and up at Leora. I've done all I can.
You did great. Good job.
And she just collapses back into the back of the chair and just kind of takes a cat nap a bit.
Leora will just go back to where she was sitting. She's not taking like a command chair, but not like not like the captains or the first officers of this ship chair. It's like
Mm-hmm.
there's like a spare chair up there. So
And how is the intrepid captain reacting to what Kana just did?
She is dealing with logistics. Like she's getting going in and out of the ready room, presumably in communications with Starfleet Command, and is doing her best to stall, and kind of sees that the two of you are doing that, and kind of gives a look of like, she kind of just turn heels and goes back into the ready room. Like, if I don't see it, I can't report anything.
I love her.
Probably also caught up in logistics with Jaloran as far as getting stuff transported down to the planet.
Yeah, there is the message that you kind of send up, Jaloran, of like, these are the supplies that they should get down here. Jaloran, you would get a message of like, the whole like, yes, 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 no, can't do that, no, can't do that. I could do that, but let's consider like what that could mean, like for their advancement, so we maybe shouldn't do that. All in all, to say, what you have asked for, she can provide about 72% of it. She cannot go over that. Like, some of the stuff, she has to put her foot down on certain things and just feel like, I'm sorry, but that is just simply beyond their advancements right now. We can't do that.
Yeah, and then Orso is getting responses back from Jaloran fairly quickly. It's very clear she's not trying to push back, but like providing like a different option or like kind of wiggle out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about this or what about that? Just to try to maximize things. It's like, okay, we can only
get up to like maybe like 76% of what you've asked for, which is honestly, I think in Jaloran's mind, I don't think she was expecting more than like maybe 50%, but this is a pretty optimistic turnout.
Yeah, so Orso definitely gets the sense from Jaloran that like she's being cooperative and is just basically like spitballing and brainstorming about what about this, what about that, in order like I said, like in order to maximize what they can do, like biggest bang for our punch.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, once the list is compiled, Orso will send a message down of once, enough work has been done after, X amount of hours. It comes with, like, the apology attached to it of, I am sorry, I gave you this much time, and I am holding to that. I will not give you more time. I've already been way beyond lenient, so.
Yeah. She sends back an acknowledgement, and then she signals over to both Kavai, Mira, and the security team. And then she tracks down that initial medic, Idira.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's definitely looking tired. Like she's been trying to coordinate, like as supplies get transported down. Like okay, send it over there, send it over there. But eventually she gets over to Idira and she's like, I'm really sorry, but I have to go now.
Your help was more than appreciated, and well, my world is... Well, it's gonna take some time for us to figure out how to work together, but maybe this will force us to do it.
I'm glad we were able to come when we could. And that we were able to do at least something for you.
Yeah, I don't suppose you landed in a spaceship somewhere?
If I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Really? Is that like a rule you have?
Something like that. I do wish you all the best of luck. And maybe we'll see each other again someday.
Well,
Sorry.
yep, continue. Go ahead.
Before we go, Mira suddenly
You're a little
kind of.
quiet.
Oh shoot! Sorry. One second. My mind. Where's my? Shoot. There we go. Okay. There we go. Sorry for being quiet. Here we go. So when Mira realizes that it's time to like leave, she looks a little, how do I say it, more active suddenly. She kind of pulls Kawaii away and she's going to whisper to her. Okay, listen. It's a weird question, but I know I can ask. Do you have any, like, I don't know, a hacked communicator? Something of sorts.
I think Kamai just sort of like looks at all of her shit and just kind of like gestures vaguely. Like, what do you want?
Listen, I hated on my own people for a while. But I never wanted anything this severe to happen. Ever. I consider them barbarians in some extent lesser than me, despite the fact that who am I to, judge a person or make earth-shattering decisions for them?
I think Kamai would like hold up a hand to interrupt you. Like, look,
Sorry.
I totally get it. I feel the same way about my own people. At least a large majority of them, but like individuals are different than people broadly. Like, I get it. Like, she will make like eye contact with you and just like be like, it's really hard, especially when you've been hurt by people directly, to want to not paint with broad strokes. Like, I get it, but you don't have to justify those feelings to me.
Yeah. Right. I forgot who I'm talking to. Sorry. What I'm saying
Just give you like a
is
little nudge.
What I'm saying is it's definitely illegal, and against all the whatever protocols, but I want to keep in touch, sort of. I doubt I'll ever come back, but I want to do something, at least. It's if
Well,
if I can give them some sort of communication, not with the Starfleet, but with myself. I can't do much on my own, of course, but I can do something. Please? You have to have
I
something in
think there's just
store.
not even like a question. Kavai's just already like fucking with shit. Like, probably would have already stolen some sort of piece of like local tech or something. Just like not even like just out of habit. Of
That's
just
why
like, oh, this is
Mira
mine
must
now.
rely on Kawaii in this.
Yeah, I think we can rig something like that. That's all that's easy. Um yeah. I think I would probably route it through like Kavai's own like network after tightening some more security.
Yeah.
Um
With the stuff provided, I can tell you what you could make for Mira here.
mm,
What you could do is create a long distance messenger. It would be between, quite literally, point A and B. It would not be instantaneous. It would be like one of those instances where one writes a message and the other one might get it a month later. But considering the distance, like from Earth to this planet, is, over 50,000 light years, that's relatively impressive. And the amount of data that could be sent would be, in our world equivalent. I mean, it's nothing comparison in that day and age, but for them, it might be pretty worth it. It's like, it would send, the equivalent of like 100 gigabytes worth of data, whether that be typed out documents or, video blurbs or whatever. But that is like the most extreme extent that you could do with the stuff you have right now.
gotcha.
Still pretty nice though. Mira would be satisfied with just like an SMS, you know.
And it'll be one of those things that the two of them would understand that they'd need to pass it to Idira without Jaloran noticing.
Exactly. Yeah, Jaloran is already taking a lot on herself, and Mira kind of takes it as this is my sort of people, and I have to be responsible for what happens. Jaloran shouldn't be not specifically involved, but if anything comes out, she shouldn't be blamed for it.
It just so happens that Jaloran gives Mira a perfect opportunity to talk to Idira alone by she seems to wrap up her conversation with them, and then she turns away to try to coordinate with the security people. Like, okay, we need to go over here for we need to go back this way in order to be able to transport back out. Yeah.
Mira.
So while Jaloran is coordinating with the security people, that would give Mira a perfect opportunity to sidle over to Idira.
Yep. Mira is going to kind of pull Idira away very gently. Apologies for being rude from the beginning.
I mean, I wasn't exactly, friendly either, so. There's fair.
Yeah. Suppose that's kind of in our nature. I would like you to have this. You specifically. She offers the communication device.
What is this here?
This is a way to communicate. You guys are about to go through tough times from the looks of it. And I can't continue helping you officially, but I want to help you just in general, right? I hope it makes as much sense as it does in my head. If there is anything you would require, not specifically technological, if there is a dire situation, I will do my best to come as quickly as possible.
That is quite the honorable feat. of you to offer?
It's not as much as I should have done, honestly. But regardless, it's you just send a message, all right? And I'll come as quickly as it meets me.
All right. This is a good thing you've done and a very helpful gift that you have offered. And
I only one thing.
Uh,
I've seen how you care about, the others, all the injured people here. That is exactly why I trust you. And her voice becomes a little bit more firm. But it doesn't mean that I exactly have as much trust for all the other, people that are like us. The history that I told you that's not exactly interesting is much related to the past of our people. And despite me willing to give you this help, I want you to know that there's still a lot of mistrust that I can't really get past. So that I trust you as an individual, okay? That's basically what I'm trying to say,
no,
okay?
I understand, and I think I know which world you're from. So she kind of digs into her pocket, and there is it almost looks like like a crystal like computer chip. I'm sure you have technology to read this at some point, but uh, it's nothing that special. But it's not gonna serve us here.
Thank you. And she's gonna take it and put it in her pocket.
This point, you do hear one of the security officers kind of yelling from the distance of, Captain Orso gave us 5 more minutes. Whatever you got going, wrap it up, please.
Well, keep your chin up, okay?
Yeah.
And Mira's going to fast walk out of there.
Mm-hmm. You will be transported out and back onto the Intrepid. With the work that the Intrepid crew has put into the Hypatia actually looks not as bad anymore. Like, the exterior still looks rough, but internally, she's mostly all there. She's definitely not gonna go above Warp 7 right now, and you're gonna have to you're probably gonna have to travel with the Intrepid for a while while you get the Slipstream hub going, but at least you have a decent start.
Something, yeah. It's like one of the first things that Jaloran does when she's back on a ship is she directs the current helm to start coordinating with the Intrepid's helm to sort that out as far as entering warp and being able to keep pace with the Intrepid.
Well, Captain, this has been an interesting experience. I imagine by the time I get to Earth, I'm going to be bumped back down to Commander.
Certainly under protest from me. And I'll definitely be putting in my 2 cents as far as your exemplary job here.
It's fine, whatever happens, Captain. I'll sleep better. But, I do have a question, Captain.
Yes.
Why are you still on my bridge? Don't you have your own to get to?
Heyo!
um, good point. Permission to disembark.
Permission granted, though does look towards Leora as, you're all departing back to the Hypatia. I mean, you're still gonna be, pace for pace with the Intrepid, but she does look towards Leora for a moment, just looking at, like, the records. You're not willing to sacrifice a con officer at some point, are you, Captain?
I have firm claim on this one.
Can't blame a woman for trying.
I know.
You'd have to give me first officer too. As Lyra says as she walks away.
Hard bargain. Alright, well. We'll try and keep our warp
So-
field a little wider so you can meld with ours in case your ship starts lagging behind for whatever reason.
Much appreciated, Captain. Shall we get underway?
I think we should.
And Jalaran just nods as she heads back to the transporter room.
Mm-hmm. For a final scene here, as the Hypatia and the Intrepid begin to sync up and leave for warp, Mira, that data chip that you have, can be plugged in to basically any, quarters, like, internal, like, holographic system, if you so wish.
So she can do that in her room.
Yep, if
Right.
you want.
Yeah, she does want that. She's going to. Oh no! First, she's going to give it to Kavai to examine, make sure it's not like a virus or some shit, because she's still a little bit suspicious.
It is, from what you can determine, Kavai, it is a 3D moving photograph.
Totally harmless.
Thanks. I really can't thank you enough. Expect something nice when you come back. For all your support and help.
No, don't even worry about it.
And then she's going to lock herself in her room and see what's up with that 3D picture.
The 3D picture is a open area at the base of what seems to be a rocky mountain with two suns in the background beginning to set, and some sort of avian creature kind of flitting about, and almost like a slight beyond, like a aurora borealis. It is an image that is like a still image of what you would determine to be either the planet you were just on or yours that you hail from originally, before it became war-torn. A piece of
Yes.
history untouched and uncorrupted by agenda.
Guess that's all I'm gonna have so far. Well, suppose that's enough. She's going to put that really deep into her pocket, really close to the heart. The picture. I mean, the disc.
Mm-hmm. As that happens, you can hear the low rumble of both ships charging up for a cruising warp speed before outside the window you can see the warp tunnel and starfield begin to pull away. And that's where we're going to end this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been this was an intense one, but as always, well, actually, before I forget, next week we won't actually have a session, given just the weekend that it's on, and I have my own family stuff to deal with, so I will be doing that. But then the following week we're gonna knock out the last couple and put this whole story to a close. But as always said here is, for a little bit, for this session, for the episode, or for this campaign, we hope we have been a little bit of R&R, and we will see you in a couple weeks.